Dirt Rally 2.0 is a game that everyone loves. It doesn't matter who you ask, everyone will say that Dirt Rally 2.0 is the best game ever, best game of 2019, best game of all time, and so on and so forth. So today we are going to answer the question: how good is Dirt Rally 2.0 really?
Hi everyone, as always Patrick here. If you're already subscribed, make sure you turn on notifications, otherwise YouTube won't tell you if I posted anything. If you are new to the channel, make sure you watch until the very end and consider subscribing if you like it.
Okay, Dirt Rally 2.0. Dirt Rally 2.0 is made by Codemasters and it was released in 2019. I don't need to say anything more, so let's talk about the graphics. As you would expect from a game released in 2019, the graphics are good, but they're not as good as you think. While the overall quality and the presentation is good, there are minor things that look really bad, especially in 2019. Those minor things are, for example, casted shadows from the trees. They are very pixelated, they don't move with the sun at all, and it just looks really cheap. But like I've said, those are minor things. Most of the game looks good. The same thing goes for the options. Every single option you would expect in a PC game from 2019 is here. Yes, even an FOV slider. There is one minor problem with the options though. And that problem is the anisotropic filtering. The in-game AF, anisotropic filtering, suffers from inferior quality compared to forcing anisotropic filtering through the graphics card control panel. But this can be fixed. Like for example, I'm using NVIDIA, so I have NVIDIA control panel. I just force anisotropic filtering there and it's all good. As for the PC release, because I was recording, the game gave my PC a little bit of a struggle, but hopefully you won't be able to notice this for a video. The funny thing is that even though I was recording, the game didn't crash, didn't stutter, and it didn't have lag. I just didn't have a lot of FPS. I was able to reach sometimes 40 or 50 FPS when I was recording, but most of the time it was in the 20s. So yeah. But when I wasn't recording, everything was fine. I had a lot of FPS, it didn't lag, it didn't crash, it didn't stutter. I had a good time when I was recording. And I have to say, so far out of every single racing game I've covered, this probably has the best PC release so far. Every option you want is there, and that's pretty much it when it comes to the graphics. Since I don't have anything more to say about the graphics, I am going to talk about the story. Dirt Rally 2.0 doesn't have a story. And it might sound crazy coming from me, but I'm actually so glad there's no story. I've talked about this in some of my older videos, but I will say it again. You don't need to have a story in rally games. You can just throw the player straight into the game and there's a huge chance that the player will enjoy your game, even if there is no story. And since there's no story, I can talk about the gameplay, and there's a lot to talk about. There's one thing I have to point out first. Since the game is 3 years old, and back in 2019 everyone made a review of this game, A lot of stuff you've heard in those reviews, you are also going to hear it here, so just keep that in mind. Also, as you can see in my footage, I am not a very good Dirt Rally player. So, I apologize for the gameplay. Oh, I know a lot of you are going to be angry seeing this footage. Anyways, let's get back on topic. The gameplay. If you have played Dirt Rally 1 before, you already know what to expect from Dirt Rally 2. Both of those games have the same structure. There's a rally campaign, or career mode should I say, sorry, and the rallycross career mode. You know how this goes. You have 4 stages in one country, then you have another 4 stages in a different country, and then you have another 4 stages in a different country, and so on and so forth. And the same goes for rallycross. Now, of course, there are differences between the two modes. Modes, sorry, not mods, modes. Again, sorry. In in normal rally, you race on point A to point B tracks, and you're trying your best not to crash or do anything stupid, like I did just a few seconds ago. When it comes to rallycross, you and other drivers race against each other on a racing circuit that usually has few laps. Stages in Dirt Rally 2.0 have a lot of variety, especially with its tracks and many other things. Let's start with rally tracks first. They vary in terrain, in the backdrop, the location, and also the time it takes to complete a race. For example, this stage that you're seeing right now took me about 10 minutes to complete. It it would take me shorter. It would take shorter if I didn't do stupid mistakes. But well, like I've said, I'm not a good Dirt Rally 2.0 player. And the next track, for example, is only 3 minutes long. So don't worry, not every track is incredibly long. The same thing goes for Rallycross. Every single track in the game has minor obstacles that you have to avoid. And they're also not visible. You can only feel them when you're driving. What are those obstacles? Those can be minor bumps that bounce your vehicle, or other things. Minor things like these add realism to the gameplay, which is something that I appreciate. When you think about it, there are actually a lot of things that make this game very realistic. The effects, the believable environments, or it can be something car related. Speaking of cars, let's talk about them right now. As you would expect from a dirt rally game, every single car behaves differently. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is the same when it comes to those cars. Some cars are better than others, and some cars are worse than others. You can also modify them in many different ways. You can upgrade them, you can change parts, you can repair parts if they're damaged, or you can just swap them if they're also damaged. Since there are a lot of cars, there are many different combinations when it comes to upgrades and many other stuff. I don't think I have to give an example, but I will give one anyway. The tires also affect the realism. Some tires are made for different types of tracks. For example, you should always change your tires accordingly to the kind of surface you will be driving on. So you should use asphalt tires for asphalt, obviously, and other kinds of tires for other kind of tracks. Like I've said, it's self-explanatory. You can also customize every part of your car individually, and you can also have fun with the assists. You know, your basic stuff like ABS, traction control, and other stuff like that. Since I don't want to talk about this for too long, I'm going to keep it short. There are a lot of customizable options when it comes to pretty much anything in this game, so I definitely recommend you try it out yourself. Usually when I analyze racing games I don't talk about the soundtrack, but I think I need to at least mention it. In Dirt Rally 1, the soundtrack was pretty calm, while the game was extreme when it comes to the difficulty and other aspects. The music was made to keep you calm, so you can have enjoyment when racing, so you can enjoy yourself when you were racing. And Dirt Rally 2.0 does the same thing. And oh man, the soundtrack is good. Now that I think about it, maybe I am going to use the soundtrack from Dirt Rally 1 and Dirt Rally 2.0 as the background music for my videos, for my analysis videos, I mean. What do you think about that? Comment down below. Okay, now let's talk about the physics. Warning, controversial opinion incoming. The physics in Dirt Rally 1 were better. Yes, I know that you're now angry now that I've said that, but please hear me out. In Dirt Rally 1, the physics were realistic, but they were also satisfying. As in, the cars in Dirt Rally 1 were hard to control, but there was some sort of satisfaction. What do I mean by that? I mean when after all of your failed attempts, when you finally got it right, when you finally mastered how to control your vehicle and how to control any other vehicle in Dirt Rally 1 for that matter, you felt this satisfaction. After you learned how to do it, you were you wanted to play more. Technically speaking, Dirt Rally 2.0 does the same thing, but the physics in Dirt Rally 2.0 were heavily reworked to the point where it's kind of absurd, at least for me. In this game, I don't feel satisfied because I've learned how to control my vehicle properly. I'm satisfied because I actually managed to do really well in the track. What I've just said probably doesn't make any sense to you, but I'm really struggling to explain this, okay? I'm going to put it like this. In Dirt Rally 1, the tracks aren't satisfying because most of them are pretty easy to remember. You know where to cut, you know how to go through them, and you were able to complete those tracks without any problems. Well, minus the snow tracks. When I was playing Dirt Rally 2.0, I felt the complete opposite. I felt like the cars were easier to control than in Dirt 1. Don't get me wrong, they were still difficult to control, but I didn't really have a problem with controlling them. And the tracks were actually more difficult than controlling the car. And when I actually managed to learn the track, then I felt satisfied. So what's the point? The point is, Dirt Rally 2.0 was made for the people that have already mastered Dirt Rally 1. and it shows. Like I've said before, the tracks are more difficult, and because the physics were reworked in Dirt Rally 2.0, well, Dirt Rally 2.0 is much harder than Dirt Rally 1. But sometimes the difficulty is just absurd. I should mention that I don't have anything against a difficult racing game. As a matter of fact, I like those kinds of games. They are challenging, you constantly want to improve, and you know the rest. Also, it's not like 100% of the game is difficult. The first races are definitely, well, I wouldn't say they are easy, but they are pretty well balanced when it comes to difficulty. But then there's the second half of the game, and oh man, it gets way too hard. At times, the difficulty is just ridiculous. For example, you will be able to complete your first stages with minor troubles, but you will be still able to reach high places. You will definitely end up in top 5 if you're good enough. But once you're close to the end of the game, the AI doesn't make any mistakes, and they're incredibly fast, and probably a lot more things that I could say, but I don't want to talk about it for too long because I don't want to get angry in this video. Now that I've mentioned it, it kinda reminds me of another racing game that also does this. It's not related to Dirt Rally, it's not related to Dirt at all, it's not even related to those old school Colin McRae rally games. It's also my second favorite game of all time. What could it be? Do you know what could it be? Comment down below. You know what's sad? I want to explain this better than I did just now. Thing is, anyone else that reviewed or analyzed this game did a lot better job at explaining this. So if you want to know what I mean, even though everyone else's opinion is different than mine in this case, go watch others, and hopefully you will be able to find someone that that said the same thing that I did, but just worded it better. As you all know, no game is perfect, so let's talk about the bad stuff. Now, because this game is very good, there's not much I can say when it comes to the bad stuff, but there are two things I want to touch on. The first thing is the fact that 70% of the game is locked behind paid DLCs. Why? Couldn't you just put everything into one package? Do I really need to pay for more content? Also, 70% of the game is locked behind paid DLCs? Why, Codemasters? Why? Since I currently don't have a lot of money, I could only afford the most basic version, the one that only has 30% of content, which leads directly into the second problem with this game, the DLCs. You can buy every single DLC on any digital stores, right? The DLC is way too expensive even if it's on sale. If I'm not mistaken, it's over $100 when it's not on sale. Are you kidding me, Codemasters? Oh man. have some respect for players' wallets, honestly. I don't want to pay over $100 just so I can get every single DLC. I mean, sure, I can choose the DLCs that I want, but when I don't buy everything, there's still not enough content to play. Why? Why did you do it, Codemasters? Why? And those are the only two bad things I can say about Dirt Rally 2.0. Before I end this video, I have two more things to say. The first one is about my previous analysis video, aka the Ferrari virtual race video. It is currently my second most popular analysis video, and I want to thank you so much for the support under that video. It really means a lot to me. The second thing, man, I don't really know if I should talk about this, but I'm just going to touch on it briefly. There's currently there as of right now, there's a person in my comments section that is posting some questionable comments. You know who you are. About those comments, this is another story for another video, hopefully. Okay, now we can finally answer the question. How good is Dirt Rally 2.0 really? It is good, but warning, another controversial opinion incoming, it's not as good as Dirt Rally 1. Yeah, I said it. What are you gonna do about it, huh? Graphically it looks very good, but it's not as good as you might think. There are some questionable aspects when it comes to the graphics. I mean, in 2019 we had games that are probably better looking than Dirt Rally 2. I mean, Dirt Rally 2 definitely does look better than most of the games released in 2019, but just to name a few: Monster Energy Supercross the official video game 2, Rush Rally 3, Dangerous Driving, Forza Street, give me a second here please, Team Sonic Racing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, F1 2019, WRC8, Grid 2019, and of course the big one, Need for Speed Heat. Dirt Rally 2.0 compared to those games I've just mentioned definitely looks better than most games I've mentioned, but but graphically it's not as good as it could have been. Gameplay overall is very good, and it will keep you in the game for a long time. The driving, handling, and the physics are good, but they're not as good as Dirt Rally 1. I know this probably made you upset, but that's honestly how I feel. Is it better than Dirt Rally 1? No, at least in my opinion. Did I still enjoy myself when I was playing the game? Yes, definitely. All I'm going to say is, give this game a go. Maybe you'll like this more than I did. Especially when everyone is praising the game, you will probably have the same opinion as everyone else, and I will be the weird guy here, but honestly, all I can say is try it out, and I hope you will enjoy your time when you're going to play the game. So yeah, go play it. Definitely go play it.
But that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to say in this analysis video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Just be